What's good, gamers? My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, PsychSensei here, and welcome to Checkpoint, a show where we push pause, see where we are, and think about where we want to go. If you'd like to learn more about your sensei, or experience a mental diff, or join my Discord, please visit my website, PsychSensei.com. And while you're there, fill out a free consultation form and you and I can figure out your win condition and start working towards it today. And remember, friends, stronger mental wins. Before we start, please remember to like, comment, and show your friends you care by giving this video a little share so we can start to help gamers everywhere. In this checkpoint session, I continue my two-part conversation with Collegiate League of Legends coach Emma and provide her with some tangible tips and tricks to better connect with her players, make practices more meaningful, and remove some roadblocks to allow her to be the best coach she can be. Are you ready to join us on this checkpoint session? Well, come hang out. Let's check in on Checkpoint. At the same time, I would hate for you to take on those people's negativity when it has nothing to do.
I am firmer with it like that, and I do recognize that, that's a very small minority that consistently causes problems. I shouldn't really care about what they think. But it becomes difficult because I don't want anyone that's, newer to the club, especially other women, to, immediately get hit with this.
Yeah.
And it's also difficult because we have, rules and we have chat mods in our Discord, but they don't really they delete things based on, their own discretion, and I feel like they don't see the issue with things the same way that I do. So it looks like I'm a lot harsher with that or, more strict, and it's like, "Oh, Emma ruins all of our fun."
Is there any women as a mod?
No.
Yeah. I think if you get some, at least one more in there would be good. If not, it seems like we have to sit down with these mods and have a discussion.
Mhm.
Have a very important role here. Oh, I don't see it's no big deal, man. We're just trying to... Exactly, it's a big deal. That's where you're wrong. This is the culture I'm trying to create. And if you're relaxed, in which if we don't provide a unified front, we both seem weak. So we're on the same team. Both want to create this culture. So this is how I plan to do it together. And if you can't do this, man, I'm sorry. I gotta find another mod because you're hurting people, and I can't have you hurting. I'm not hurting anyone, dude. You idea. This is serious. This mod role isn't just a tag and a badge you get. This is something I'm trusting you to do. And if I can't trust you to do it, bye-bye. I literally don't have time for lists. I have a limited number of time, and you're not helping me. I need people that are going to help. It's a very important role that you have. It's cool. I'm so glad that they have you to change this culture, or at least be the barometer of this is not okay and this is okay. Because the things that you're trying to address are not just, which I think is awesome. This is a culture thing, larger, bigger than you. I think you're meeting it head on.
Thank you.
You're very brave to do this, because other people be like, oh, I guess it's just another day. It's whatever. Haha. You're like, no, this is not okay. And you're actually trying to actively change things and not being passive in it. I love it. So how can you be brave here in the way that you interact, the strength that you demonstrate in drawing these boundaries, and copying and pasting this as a coach?
Well, it becomes difficult because one of my players
Oh, no.
is, part of that minority that doesn't think very highly of me, and that hasn't been an issue on the team yet, but it's still, kind of in the back of my mind where it's I feel like he's listening to what I'm saying and, being very receptive to it, but I never know, what he's really thinking about it, and that kind of, makes me a little unsure.
Yeah. How open would you be to talking with this person about stuff?
I I would be willing to try it. I'm just not sure if, it'd make things better or worse. Because I would try to approach it in, a very, open manner, "Hey, let's work this out."
Yeah.
And I am worried that he wouldn't take it seriously and would, go right back to his friends and be like, "Haha, look at this."
I mean, I think it definitely depends how we frame it, right? So if it's out of the blue, hey, I want to make sure we squish this. I'm seeing it a little differently where even before the season starts, hey, there's something I really need to talk to you about. Yeah, what's up? Some things that I'm scared of is I have this conversation with you. It's not going to be taken. And this is something that like I really want to talk to you about because it's important to me. Yeah, okay, well, what's up? Okay, well, I'm really worried about how we are and our relationship because I don't want it to get in the way of our productive season. It's not about me. The frame is pause. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about our season now. And we're on the same team and want the season to go well. And, oh, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I'm glad you said that. So what I'm worried about is this. I know that you're friends with this person and this person doesn't like me. And I just want you to know, like, as your coach, I'm always thinking about you. I'm thinking about how I can make you better. And I'm really thinking about this team. And I really need to understand what I can do to help you get better if this is going to get in the way. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. Well, I'm worried about this. And what can I do to make sure that I'm putting my best foot forward to help you, or you know that I'm on your team? And just know that it really hurts my feelings if I'm trying to help you and I find out that like you're talking bad behind my back. It doesn't feel. Oh,
Yeah, I think that
yeah.
would be a good way to frame it and would hopefully like help with the team environment.
Yeah. Because all these suggestions that I'm providing you so far, it's encouraging you to be open and trust your teammates to take it the way you want to actually hear you. And if they don't, you can just leave it like, hey, I'm just being open and honest, and I'm glad that I got to express this to you. If you want to talk later, you can. But if not, I hope you heard what I had to say. And then I did my job. I said what I need to say, and it's on them to be receptive and pull their part of the deal, or be in a relationship with me. You can only extend the hand, you can open the door, you can show them water, but they have to come the other half. And by you sharing your experiences and your fears and being vulnerable and open with them, I'm hoping that they'll also see that and return the favor for you so you can have this working relationship with them. And actually she's like, oh, Emma's actually really cool and she's thinking about me. And this is not a power trippy kind of thing. Or, oh, she is actually putting in time outside. And even though she may say this is what she's thinking of from this T1 game. Wow, she actually watched T1? Okay, yeah, I can listen to her. Or like, okay, she's actually putting forth effort versus, oh, she's a challenger player. That's why I'm trying to find different ways to help you be more confident in what you say, how to better connect with your players, to build confidence in your team. And then that way, if you're going to coach them, then you won't have that feeling of, oh no, are they thinking other things? Because they'll already be open with you. Be willing to say like, I don't know, or whatever, because you put these.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to make an effort to be more open with my players and hopefully just like create a better environment where they feel comfortable to voice their opinions. So I think that's what I'll focus on and like doing more kind of team building activities. But something I still wanted to cover then, I feel like
Yeah.
we've talked a lot about kind of like my stuff and my struggles.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to focus a little bit on the struggles of my players and
Yeah.
how I can help them more with that.
Yeah.
Because burnout is such a large issue for a lot of my players, and a lot of that stems from, like, if they don't feel good in their school life and their social life, that's going to carry over to league. I just wanna be able to help them more with that, but also how can I still, like, be firm with them if they're not meeting the expectations that are set for the
Yes.
team?
Good question. Okay, something that I really love that one coach used, shout out to Cap Guest if he's listening, with his teams that I think more teams should pick up, is something that he started off each practice with was something called a mood meter. And so basically what he created was a Likert scale, 1 to 10, same kind of thing of what kind of mood you're in. I think he did like energy levels, high, low, how present you are, high, low, and like how happy you are, high, low. One is like low, not at all, and 10's like high, very much so. By looking at their moods every single game, he was actually able to see where his players were. And he said one time it actually saved him from a tournament loss because someone said they were in a low mood and they put him on a less mechanically dependent / thought dependent hero. And they actually were to win the game because they could just let them chill and do their own thing. So I think that would be really cool. And if there's something in the way of your player that day, you can keep that in your mind, especially when you're providing them feedback or if they're actually even here today. Maybe you can even adjust your practice or expectations of your practice from this mood. So that's one. Another thing that I'm thinking about with players in burnout is that they're probably playing a lot outside of practice. And then I would ask them like, okay, if you're playing outside of practice, what do you focus on? And they say, oh, what do you mean? I'm just playing. I'm trying to learn like champions. Okay, what specifically are you trying to learn as champion? And then you can then think about where they are and what your team needs and be like, okay, I need you to focus on this specific skill. you're going to be playing, I want you to work on this thing and I want you to track it, because then that will help them. A, if they're playing games, it's very purposeful and intentional. And then B, if they're tracking it, they can see over time that they're actually improving or maybe not improving or what have you on that skill. And then that will also decrease their quote feeling that they're not improving if they can actually see and track it. So I think those two things might help, and also might help you gauge. Like if they're doing stuff outside of practice, you can guide their outside practice. If it's just outside stuff that's happening, we can kind of discuss that before, or even at the end of the week, you see a lot of low energies, not presence for this team. It's like, okay, let's just stop. Guys, this is what I'm noticing. What's going on with your lives? Like, is there something I need to change, or is it something that you guys got to do? Because I'm wondering if you're trying to make these adjustments, that it's not a practice togetherness thing. It's them doing things outside of their practice room that needs to get readjusted, right? So it also could be a point of interest for you to discuss and bring up how here or not here they are. Because it's really early to start getting burnt out, man. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think it is a lot of outside influences, but something that I haven't figured out, like,
Yeah.
how to balance is the requirements that I set, because we scrim twice a week, we
Okay.
have VOD review once a week, and then we usually have, like, a tournament game on the weekend.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, they are required to play 7 ranked games each week. I do require I'm not, like, entirely strict about this, but I do ask that they play it. It's required on roll, but ideally on these, like, champions that we're working on. And a complaint that I often get is like, "Oh, well, I lose my games because 'cause I'm
Perfect.
practicing that." It's like,
Yes.
I just wanna play my one-trick lethality Scion so I can climb. So
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Tell them. Yes, yes, yes. I want you to climb too. At the same time, you understand why I'm telling you to play these champions, right? And be like, oh, I guess so. And so we can suggest them. Is I suggested to all my players too, is they make another account. In fact, I tell my players to have up to 3 accounts. Like, why? I was like, okay, 1 account I want you to play. XD, have fun. Go lethality Scion, whatever you want to do. Go play Jinx top, have fun. XD. No, that's your playing. It doesn't matter if you lose, because the purpose of this account is to have fun, do whatever you want to do. That's your playing account. In your second account, I want you to dedicate to training. What? Training? Yes. I want you to go in with a specific intention to this game. Even if it's, I'm playing this champion to learn them, trying to learn Thresh Hook, whatever. So when you go into these games, learning this skill, and it would be really cool if you start losing, you figure out maybe a master tier ADC, but bro, you are silver 2 Jinx. You're just garbage. So will that lose LP? Yes, it will, but you're doing it on your Smurf account, your second training account, and it doesn't matter. Oh, but it just feels so bad. Okay, now that we're working on it, we're also working on your mental about losing, coming back. Because what I've noticed is that if we lose the first one in a best of 3, I need to count on your mental that you can come back from this loss. So you need to show me in your training. Maybe that's what we're working on in your training. But again, training is your intentional thing. Exactly. I want you to lose LP. I don't care, because we're then your third account, your main account, I want that thing to be your competition account. I don't care what you do. You're not training, you're not playing. When you go in there, you are winning. You are 100% locked into the macro. I don't care. I want you just to go without there, win. If you want to use a mindset shift, it's kind of like jerseys. I want your main account to be like your game jersey, right? That's the thing that you keep pretty. And when you go in, you are the lemon. You go in there and you just pound people, because that's what the lemon does, you know? On your training account, it's a practice jersey. You want to get that thing dirty, bloody, rip it. It doesn't matter, because no one's going to see it. It's just for practice. And your XD, man, that is your whatever. I'm going out and walking around the town. It doesn't matter. So by having these different accounts, you can literally switch your mindsets logging in and out. And that shift, that intentionality of what you're doing, it will solve the I'm losing LP. You know, and it's like, oh, but I want to start a new account. It's like, it's $5. Here you go. Here's a new account money. Like, what's your next excuse? Because you're playing a lot of games. I just want you now to shift and be intentional in the games that you're playing. Because if you're able to do this in the practice, it's going to translate this to our team, and that's where it matters that you win. And they'll be like, oh, okay. So if you explain the system, maybe get some buy-in, but just explain that to them and see what they say. You can kind of modify and twist it. But what do you think about that system?
Yeah, that sounds great, and I feel like it would address a lot of their concerns of, like, I don't want to lose LP while
Yeah.
I'm learning this, so I don't wanna, like, demote anything. So I think that would help a lot. The issue I kind of foresee is them not wanting to play more than the required matches. It's like, I don't want to play my for fun stuff that gets me LP, and then also have to play my ranked requirements on like the stuff that I'm practicing. Because that's something that I'm seeing with one of my players. He's playing a lot of League, but it's all ARAM because he's
ARAMs.
playing with friends. Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't help us practice at all, and you're not meeting your ranked game requirements. He's like, oh, well, when I have free time, I want to play like with my friends. So I guess just like balancing the time that they
Yeah.
have and how they want to spend it on
Mm-hmm.
League.
Yeah.
But I also want to be a little more firm with that because it was outlined like what the requirements were before they tried out,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Mm-hmm.
all like agreed to this, so they should be meeting it.
Yeah. Did they know what the purpose of playing so many games is?
I'm not sure. I'll clarify it with them because to me, it's practicing. Like, they should be intentional. Ideally, like you're working on specific skills, you're
Yeah.
working on specific champions so that we're comfortable picking them in scrims and in tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they view it as just like maybe playing to play, like
Yeah.
so they don't get rusty or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I have a suggestion, but it's kind of shitty because it's just going to require you to do a little work. But I think if you were able to do this, it would make sense to them. Because what I'm trying to think of, what you're telling me, like what you're saying makes a clear cut, makes sense. But I'm trying to think if I was a player, where are the excuses or where are the things that I'd be like, okay, I can say this, but I just don't want to do it. So what are the things that we can put in place where if they said that, it's like, we thought of that, and this is the thought you would, and so this is the purpose. Because if I was a player, I'd say like, okay, well, I have to play 7 games, and I kind of want to do what you're saying. I don't want to lose LP. I want to continue to climb because I think the most invaluable thing is my rank. Okay, fair. Or most invaluable thing of my time is having fun with my friends because I'm so busy in school, and who can blame them, right? I feel that. 7 games, okay, that may be seeing a lot for some people. I see that. Okay, but again, from what you're saying, seems like the purpose is when you provide them with the 7 games, your intention is you're going to be practicing champions that I need you to be practicing for a team comp. So when it comes to scrims, they're not just first timing, like you, me, Ez, for example. We actually played it, we're comfortable, we know how it goes, right? Got it. Okay. I'm wondering how it would be if you literally said, okay, I'm sure you have some type of spreadsheet already like this, or like, this is the team comps trying to play. I watch your scrims, see your play styles. This comps, like these lists of 3 comps, is going to be the thing that we're going to practice this week or next week. Okay, cool. From this, I need you to show me that you're practicing these things, because if you're able to do this, I want to hit these benchmarks. I want to be able to hit this combo, these 2 things. I want to be able to hit this team fight setup. This thing. This is what I plan. And so this is my grand plan. Here is your homework assignments. Each individual player, you play this champion, I'm looking for this skill. You play this champion, you work on this skill. You play this champion, you work on this skill. You have a spreadsheet. Everyone comes in the next week. Either check the spreadsheet to say, okay, if we don't do this, we're not going to play this comps because I know that you haven't practiced it. Or, all right, we all have it. You said you practiced it. You played it. Okay, what happened? We didn't do it at all. You guys actually practice, right? Because I'm thinking that if they can see how their practice of that specific champion is fitting into a system, or what you're specifically looking for by practicing these 2 champions or these combinations of champions together, that to them it makes more sense and just lined up versus Emma Tell play game versus, oh, Emma Tell play game for reason. Got you. Reason makes sense. Reason make equal win game. I want win game. I do Emma says. I'm trying to just remove barriers for them to be like, okay, how does this make sense? Why am I doing this?
Yeah, I'm just like writing these things down.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a huge help.
Because I'm thinking this might come full circle, Emma. The only junk thing is that, like, I think what may help you in general with the confidence, with working with players and making sure that you feel that you have enough information or you have enough knowledge that you it up, is finding ways for you to structure systems that will save you time. You know, like for example, if this is the system that you have, you know, every Monday when we go over this, or every Friday before I let them go, we do this thing. Every scrim, our draft discussion goes this way. They know the system. They know what I expect of them on this team because they got familiar with the system. Like, this is going to take time for you to set up and think about, be intentional of. But once you got it, you're not going to need to think about it. It's going to become second nature. It's going to be very, very smooth. That way, it'll also save you time about planning scrims or the things you need to do for practice because it's already laid out for you. It's got to execute.
Yeah, I think that would be really helpful. and both saving me time and also feeling like our practices and just activities are more effective and like conducive to improvement because of like how structured it is.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the more structure I can give you, the better, because then you'll give the players structure. And here's the thing, they'll bitch and moan about structure, but everyone loves counting on it. So even though this is something that they might fight you on at first, just keep reminding them what the purpose of the structure is, how it's going to help them. And then once they start buying into it and see results, reinforce, reinforce, reinforce. You're picking it faster, you're learning things faster. You guys aren't fighting so much because you're following the system. Great job, keep going. Reinforce, reinforce. Even if it's effort, I see you trying to make this call. I know that it's challenging. I see you trying. That's good. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And then once they get used to it, they're going to be just fine. And then they won't be so burnt out because they know when and why. And providing the structure will also help them divvy out their time so they can monitor it themselves. Because that's our goal, that they can do it themselves. Dear God.
Yeah. I think something that I'm still concerned about is maybe players just being like unwilling to do this because that's something I feel like I've kind of noticed is that some players just like aren't as invested. Like they're kind of meeting the requirements, but they don't want to do more than that. They kind of treat it as like a chore that they have to do. They're just
Lucky.
like getting through it rather than pushing more. And that makes it difficult for some of the players that are more invested. One of our players maintains 2 accounts in Masters, so, like, he's getting more than his 7
Yeah.
games. So it's just, like, difficult to manage those different levels of effort that's being put in because I can give them activities, but they kind of sometimes treat it as, like, homework assignments
Yeah.
rather than, like, improvement.
I feel
So
you. I feel you. Okay. With these players that may not have effort, perhaps we may have to temper our expectations. And I'm wondering, even if it's like, okay, the thing that we're trying to fight is like them just giving us middle fingers and be like, all right, I see you want 7. I'm not going to do 0. I don't care. So I would be very interested to see like, okay, dude, see that you haven't been practicing. What's going on? No, I think it's a chore. I feel like I just play games and it's whatever, and I want to play those champions. And okay, let's run through a checklist. Do you understand? Like, just make sure, like, you know why I want you to do these. Yeah. I know why you want me to do them. I was like, okay, well, if you know why, like, this is my concerns for you in practice. This is what I've been seeing, and I'm wondering, like, what do you think about one game? Like, can you give me one game fully invested in this champion? And like, give me something. I can play one game. Okay, we'll take one game. Take one game. Because all we're trying to do right now is create buy-in. We're trying to help like create buy-in into the structure, buy into our thought processes, and we'll take whatever we can get. So it's not 7 games. How about 1? I can play 1. Okay, can you play 1 as Urgot? But it's one game. And it's all as Urgot. I don't care if you win or lose. I just want you to, after the 1 game of Urgot, you tell me what you learn. Even if it was terrible, to say how bad it was and what was so bad. I want to have a discussion with you on this. Okay, cool. Awesome. They do that consistently. Okay. Can you give me 2 games? And then I think after a while, after this process of just creating buy and spending time with them, validating how they're doing, how they're improving by just doing this 1 game. I think if you did 2, you know, our goal is just to get them excited and try to at least do something. So if it's not 7, we go down. Of course, this is after you talking with them to see, either understand where they're coming from. Is there something in the system? Are they just trying to jack us up? Are they just trying to be difficult? Like, what is it? So first is the asking and seeing where they are, and then we can plan. But that's what I'm thinking. In general, we're just trying to create buy-in for this person. And if it's not 7, where can we start? That they're like, okay, I'll do this.
yeah, I hadn't really thought of it that way before, but I think this will be incredibly beneficial. Shifting it instead of like, here's what you have to do, it's the requirement, and they just like try to get it done just to any degree. Switching it to instead like, here's the reason for it, like be intentional with
Mm-hmm.
it and making it less of a grind and more like actual improvement because
Yeah.
if they get like 1 game where they're fully invested in it and present, I think that's better than 7 games where they're just like kind of muddling through it to get
Yeah.
their requirement in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. The more that they can turn their brain on, even if it's for a game, that's more valuable than 10 games that they're just like autopiloting. Absolutely. You can even revisit. Okay, guys, I understand it's preseason, so we just got knocked out. I've got a lot of feedback that 7's a lot. What is more reasonable for you? if after thinking about it, dude, I can give you 3. Okay, cool. We'll start at 3, and here's our goal. Because it's off season, I just want us to like get together, play some games, learn some champions, keep up with the meta. In this off season, my goal is to be more prepared and more structured for you, and so I'll be trying some things out. So by the time January rolls around, we're gonna hit the ground running. And to do that, we're gonna start with 3 games here. And then we're going to slowly ramp up more games when the season comes, because it's going to be very important that we're working on our mental endurance and we can play a best of 5. It's going to be very important for us to transition to. So I hear you. I understand that you guys got a lot of stuff coming on. It's almost Thanksgiving. We're going to wrap down to something that's more reasonable for you right now where we are in the season. And then we'll continue to build. This is what I want you to focus on. It's what I'm going to focus on. And we'll be how's that sound, team? And being open to hear their feedback, because I really wonder what they'd say, like, oh, maybe 1 game. It's like, I hear you 1 game, and let me push back a little bit, and this is why I think 3 or something. And then you can kind of bargain with them to see what they'll actually do. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that sounds awesome, and I think it will be received really well by them because I think 7 might seem like a little overwhelming when they're just coming into competitive and
Mm-hmm.
like maybe weren't playing that much before. So yeah, I think they'll get a lot more out of a lower game requirement, but with like higher involvement in it, I guess.
Emma, I thought about actually something really, a different activity, a different homework assignment for you that might be more fun for them, especially because you have such a young team. And you can actually like integrate this into your team building. Would be okay. You don't want to play 7 games, I feel. You only play 3 or you play 5. 4 out of these 5 games, you ask somebody to play with you. And then when we reconvene next meeting, everyone has 5 to 10 minutes and you tell me everything you learned about this person in your games. We'll start with the champions they like. We'll start into the comms that they do. We'll even go into what happens when this person gets toxic. Tell me about everything that you learned about them as a player and as a person. That's your assignment. Wait, what? We have to play games still? Yeah, but the intentionality of the game is to learn your partner. To win or lose, I don't care. I just want you to do the activity of asking somebody out on a date, a game date. Hey, dude, what are you doing? Want to come play with me? That's hard. Second of all, then I want you to actually converse and watch them play the game so you learn more about them, because the assignment is if you learn more about them, you'll know what they're going to do. Then you won't even need to communicate because you actually know because you played with them multiple times. So you don't want to play champions, that's fine. Play with each other. That could be a focus. Pick your own adventure. What do you want to do today, this week? What's your homework assignment? Because we have a lot of areas to work on. Just where do you want to work? You get to pick. Are you working on champions or are you working on human champions? What do you want to do?
I like that a lot, and I think it will create more of that like cohesive team bond that I want as well. Because right now they don't really duo with each other. Our
Working,
team
yeah.
masters players, our jungle and support sometimes do, but I think it'd be helpful if they could duo with some of the others. I think that'd just be like beneficial in learning about each
Mhm.
other, but also maybe like providing a bit more guidance.
Yeah. And to maybe even
Yeah.
go one step further if they're afraid of, oh, what happens if I ask them and they say no? The rule is if you ask someone, you can't say no. But if you cannot play, then you have to offer an alternative time when you can play. We're going to take rejection out of this assignment. You're not allowed to say no. If you cannot play, though, because you're in class, you got something going on, you must offer an alternative time, and you two must find a time until you find one. Thus, there's no rejection. Because
Yeah, I
oftentimes
like that
that's
a lot.
the afraid, right? Oh, what if they say no? It's gonna be so weird. It's gonna be awkward. Like, dude, you can't fail. You literally cannot fail. Again, our goal is to remove roadblocks from them. And if we are able to remove roadblocks, your coaching skills will come out. This entire time that we've been talking, Emma, something that I've been really trying to strategize or think about is how can we leverage your strengths always? Because you have so many strengths to the coach. Just the way that you think about your players, the things that you're concerned about when working with your players, I can tell already that you have like, it's a great coach. How can we continue to leverage your strengths? And is it removing roadblocks from your players to take your suggestions? Or the deeper question is, are you removing roadblocks from yourself so you can actually demonstrate your greatness instead of being afraid?
I think while I do have roadblocks that I should address between like myself and players, I think I first need to address the roadblocks that I have in my own life.
Word.
Like I've recognized that my schedule is not sustainable. So I quit my job in like one of the labs that I work in, and I'll have more time next semester. And then I could do more of the
Good.
things that I want to do with coaching, like, thinking about this now when you were talking about lowering it to maybe, like, 1 game or 3 games of those, since they're more intentional, I would like to be able to review those, like, one-on-one with the player
Yeah.
and kind of break things down. So I think if I have more time, I could do that, and then I'd feel just, like, better about the guidance that I'm giving
Mm-hmm.
my players, and I think that would be more beneficial. Another shift that I can do is focusing less on, like, the amount of time and what we do with, like, the time that we have.
Ooh, girl. I hope you also apply that to life stuff. You know, when you're running around on campus thinking all these things, absolutely, there's time for everything, just not everything at once. And I think something with college students, and to remind them, is like, slow down, actually do the things that you want to do, because there's a lot of things that you're not going to want to do that you have to do down the road. So you're at the perfect spot to explore and get excited and do the things that you really want to do. I think what you're going to be finding out, coming full circle again to the dream is working in esports, but what do I have to offer? And it's like, girl, all these things that we've talked about, your leadership skills, your communication skills, your planning, your structuring, your organization, girl, all this is esports. There's so many transferable skills, your critical thinking from your schooling, like all of this goes down. And I'm pretty sure you could find some cool things about rocks in there. Guaranteed. It all applies. It's just finding ways to apply your skills, and you have so many, and maybe that's the hard part. It's like, which skills do I apply, you know? Yeah, dude, I just look at the time, man, and we've been kicking it for almost like 2 hours, girl. It's so fun. So like, let's just do a little bit of check-ins. And how is it today? Where are you now? All of it.
Yeah, I'm already feeling so much better. I'm really excited to start implementing a lot of
Nice
these
you.
things with my players. I think just that shift of like making sure we're being efficient with our practice time will greatly benefit them and me. It'll feel less overwhelming because there'll be less time commitment, but like more presence with it, I guess.
Ooh, I love it. More presence, more presence. I'm wondering too, like, what was maybe something that would have been more helpful, or something that you wish we talked about more in this session?
I think something that would be helpful is more of these like methods that you're talking about. We talked about a lot of like the feelings behind things, but then the solutions that you gave to like start implementing like specific activities, this spreadsheet. I think just those methods that I can like
Got
uh
you.
solidly implement.
Got you. More tangibles. Okay. We can do that for sure next time. Love it.
Mhm.
Love it. I guess, what do you think is the one thing that you're like, okay, I see this differently now, or I saw this one way, but now after some time, oh, I'm thinking about this now.
I think I was a little displeased with my players and like their unwillingness to meet the requirements that I set.
Hmm.
But now I'm realizing that like I need to revise the requirements. I'm doing what like had always been done in previous years, but I think I really need to like reevaluate it and look at the effectiveness of it because I think I can change it and get more out of it.
And last question from this discussion, you mentioned a lot of things earlier, but I'm just saying, what's the one thing you think you're going to do after this? The most easiest thing that you're going to do?
I probably won't do it tonight, but tomorrow we have a scrim,
Ooh.
and I think then I'll see if my players can get on a little bit earlier, and I'll kind of just like outline some of the changes I'm thinking of implementing. I'll be like, hey, here's what we're gonna focus on moving forward.
Nice. Super excited. Dude, after that scrim, you let me know, message me, let me know how it goes. I want to know the updates. This was so much fun. I feel like we should like do an update like a couple months down the road or what have you, just to check in again to see like how's the season going, or it's almost ready for the season. How you feeling about it? Or how's the hesitations? Let's plan to do another one of these later on. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be great. I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be like great for my players. It feels like this is adjusting more to them as individuals rather than like this is the set way that we've always done things. I think we'll improve a lot from this. I'm excited to, in the future.
Honestly, is it alright if I provide you with one last feedbacks or some mindsets and stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Well, Emma, I just want to say, like, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on my show to be the first person on Checkpoint. I had such a blast just talking with you over this past like couple hours. Something that I'm really impressed with is the way that you think about your players and the consideration that you have for them. Another thing that I'm really impressed with is like your intuition about what they may need or what they may be thinking, and your ability to kind of plan and think about that and actually hold it in your head. Some coaches like, it's my way or the highway. So you actually like considering your players and how you want to coach them is amazing. I think another strength that you have is your ability to take a step back and analyze and assess how effective this is going, or do my players like this? And I think along with that is your openness to see and be willing to say like, oh, that's one way of thinking. Maybe there's a better way of thinking, versus being super hard stuck in your mindset or perspectives. I think that openness and that flexibility is going to serve you a long way. These are the strengths that I picked out, and I'm super excited for you to go on and try with your team. And I'm just really excited that your players have you as a coach. I'm super stoked for you. Good luck, and let me know how I can continue to support, especially after scrims tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you, everyone else in the chat just cruising. Thank you for coming to this first episode of Checkpoint. Sorry that I have not been in the chat. I really want to spend as much time and be with Emma and talk with her and really understand what she's dealing with and all the things that she's going through and all the awesomenesses that she is. So thank you. And as always, my name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, your PsychSensei, teaching you to think, play, and slay. One day, one show, one thought at a time. And remember, friends, stronger mental wins. All right, Emma, you can say bye if you'd like.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the stream.
Awesome. All right, take it easy, friends. Pieces. Bye. Man, what an insightful and chicken skin inducing conversation. Man, I can't wait to follow with Emma later in the season to see how she's doing, the changes that she's made, and looking at the future coach that she's becoming. If you're interested in being a guest on Checkpoint, please visit my website, PsychSensei.com, and fill out a free consultation form, and you and I can check in soon. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to relieve your sense of FOMO, as you'll always know when the latest Checkpoint drops. Alright friends, as always, my name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, your Psych Sensei, checking out from Checkpoint. And remember gamers, stronger mental wins. Peace.